to the ongoing saga of the Shovelhead brakes. When I saw you last time at the beginning of the last video, I started by tapping the rear tyre and telling you what's going to happen. And here we are, another video on, I'm still sat here tapping the rear tyre. So, there are developments on the caliper, but I'm not dealing with them just yet, I'll talk about them later. I've got to get the back wheel out now in order to remove this support plate to replace the bushes. I'll also clean up the disc. I'll check the bearings, wobble the wheel, everything's okay, there's not a problem there, so I'll just clean it all up when it comes off. I've already removed the chain because it's a simple split link, took seconds. And also on this side I've removed the chain guard because we're going to strip the black paint off it, take it back to chrome again. It is actually split at one of the mounting points, which apparently is a common vibration-induced problem with these. So I'll just weld it on the back and put a bit of silver paint on it. No one's going to notice down there. I can't afford to replace all the chrome on this thing. It's going to cost me a fortune. I'll also strip the grey paint off the back wheel while it's out, just in case it's okay. I don't imagine it is, but I'll have a look. And then also, these should be chromed. So I'm going to have to take them off, strip them, see what they're like. And if the chrome's no good, I'll at least put them in silver to try and brighten things up a bit, because that will only then leave the engine lower end in black and everything else will either be in colour or chrome. So, the first job, get the back wheel out. Okay, the back exhaust has been removed because I needed to do that to gain access to the rear brake line, which has already been taken off. Fairly awkward to get at, but pretty much a simple unbolting job. So the brake stay's got to come off. I've taken a split pin out, and lo and behold, it's finger tight, which is not what it should be, but anyway, there it is. It is what it is. And I'm going to have to undo the top end of this as well. Let me just show you that if I can. Oh, you probably can see it anyway. It's here. So you don't want to see me take that off, so I'll bring it back and we'll concentrate on this when I've done that. It's only a split pin. Right, bars off. The front bolt wasn't even finger tight. So I'll clean that up, probably paint it. So that leaves our main securing nut, which holds our aftermarket support in place. That is also not very tight. Somebody didn't like doing nuts and bolts up on this bike. Right, we'll need a gentle tap. There we go. And out it comes. Spacer on the left hand side where the disc is. No, sorry, the sprocket, not the disc. Right, so I will clean the disc up, take it off, clean it up like I did before. And there's our bracket with our bushes. Top one's already missing. I'll go and press out the bottom one. That procedure was covered quite comprehensively in a previous video, so I won't bother showing you that again. Right, interior shocks next. I've pre-loosened the bottom mount in case it was tight. Let me just squeeze in front here. And then the top mount, which we'll undo now. It's a chrome sleeve, slightly damaged, but there you go. Just down for a second. And a slightly misplaced top bung. Right. This stud appears to be held on by this large bolt. Well, that's a through bolt, I should say. The stud is a through bolt with large nuts not. So I need to find something that will fit that. There we go. Again, not very tight. Seems to be a recurring theme on this bike. It's very windy outside. Storm car is blowing away. We've had a couple of snowstorms. So that's probably the background noise you can hear. Right, so I need to strip that. See what condition it's in. We've got a busted nut there. Somebody's welded up a couple of holes there and there. So who knows what we'll find when we strip it. So we'll have to take the other side off as well. Come this far. So rather more of this bike missing now than I initially thought. It's rapidly turning into considerably more complicated sort out than I expected. But that is the way of projects, so let me just bring you up and move you around very slightly. So this one can come off too. Put them back. So on to go. Come on. You little tinker. There we go. Right. Right, both rear fender struts removed. Somehow don't think the chrome's going to be very good on this, so they will end up being painted silver, I think. The final item in my box of goodies is a new front mudguard. I've absolutely no idea where this is made either. It's oiled steel. So I've had experience of oiled steel, bare steel panels before. There's always a problem degreasing them where they meet their seams. But it looks very well made, it looks well pressed. I'll soon find out more when I get it in primer. But that will replace the fiberglass front guard that's on there at the minute. It's also fairly easy to see why Harley Davidsons are heavy, because that's a sizable weight really, but there's a lot of metal there I suppose. So there we go, there are more parts on the way, which we shall show you when they arrive. Whilst we're dealing with the back brakes, our footboards need looking at as well, because they bolt up next to them obviously, certainly on the right hand side. The chrome's pretty good. Good enough for me, that's for sure. So I've ordered the original fittings, which have come in 2 bags. So let's see what we get and how they fit. Because frankly, I haven't got a clue. They're stuck together. Yeah, that goes like that, yeah, that will go like that, right, okay. And then we have some rubber insulating bolts, 4 per board. Now, how do these work? Now, that obviously just rests on there, but what stops it falling off? That's a puzzle. Clearly they have to go in those holes. So let's get a screwdriver and try that first. I've got a feeling it's going to be one of those jobs that's easier said than done. No. Let me have a wrestle with these and I'll bring you back. Okay, I'd love to tell you a really smart and clever way around all this, but I haven't got one. Brute force and ignorance. To get it in, I basically pushed it in so part of the lip was in place, like so, and then I went round the other side using a screwdriver, pushing it in. So I will now struggle to fit these other 3, and then we'll come back and look at the external floorboard fitment. Right, they're all in. And in fact, once you accept the fact you've got to use brute force and ignorance to get them in, and just go for it, it was actually fairly straightforward and didn't take that long. So that leaves us with our mat, which obviously sits on there and gives us a lovely insulated ride. So that's all well and good. But it doesn't look right to me. It looks to me like that sits far too high. But they're the right rubbers. So, what on earth holds them on? I've no idea. When I bought them, I assumed there would be some sort of peg or something that would fit in there, but there isn't. It's also not very well supported. Even if that was in place, they just sort of slop about. I mean, maybe that's how they're meant to be, I don't know. So, I shall go and try and find out how these are meant to fit. I can only assume, do you use some sort of glue? Can't think what else. I'll go and have a look and tell you what I find when I find it. Okay, looked online and it appears they're glued. So I've got some high viscosity super glue because I don't want it too runny, and I've degreased with thinners all the contact points, so hopefully that is thick. There we go. Apparently super glue is very good for sticking down rubber, or so I've been told. So we shall see, won't we? I don't know how long that takes to go off. Anyway, you don't want to watch me holding down the rubber mat, do you? So I'll bring you back. Right, it has stuck very well. It's still a bit floppy in the middle, as I suspected, as it's unsupported. But I found a photograph of a 73 FLH online, and there is a clear gap between the chrome and the rubber, and it does look ripply. So it's got to be right. The parts have been supplied by a reputable parts supplier, so that's got to be how they are. So that'll be put to one side now, ready for fitment later on. I'll go and do the other one. Okay, you're probably wondering why we suddenly back at the rear master cylinder, and in particular why it's all in bits. And it is in bits because when I recorded the first video I was uncertain as to what that did and what that did, and I put them in anyway as they were in the kit, and the kit was supplied to me for my brakes, but I shouldn't have done. And thanks to a very kind gentleman called Frank Villa, who got in touch and told me that these two items are not fitted when this kit is used for disc rear brakes. It's fitted for the old hydraulic rear drum brake, which apparently this kit also sorts out, which I was unaware of, and the parts book wasn't entirely clear, or my comprehension of the parts book wasn't entirely clear. So thanks to Frank, I now know that I don't need these, so they will be going, and I'll build the cylinder back up. You don't need to see that because it's in the original video. Now, while we're on the topic, Frank also has a Facebook page which may be of interest to owners of older Harleys like myself, which is called Old Iron Harleys 1933 to 1985. So very much worth a look, lots of interesting stuff on there, lots of interesting pickies and things. A good page. And also, I'd like to thank the Shovelhead Owners Facebook page UK, who invited me to join in with them as well via the Harley Riders Club forum when I first put up this video. So many thanks to both and all the other members in that forum who've come forward with very friendly and welcoming comments. Thanks guys, I really appreciate it. You're a very helpful and friendly bunch. Anyway, I'll stick this back together. I now know why they were in the kit. I've learned something new. As I said, this is my first Harley. It's going to be an awful lot of learning new things. But I'm very glad I'm getting the help to make things right. Anyway, back to the rest of the video. Right, I wasn't going to include anything about the paintwork of the bike. In fact, originally I wasn't going to paint it at all. I was just going to leave it matte black and ride it. However, things have changed in the world, as I'm sure everyone is aware. I'm having trouble getting parts at the minute for my BSA because of the shortage of people working and things. Everyone's staying home, hopefully, and keeping well, which is at the end of the day far more important than motorcycle parts. So I decided I might as well do some of the... Whoa! There we go, that's careless. Do some of the paintwork. I'm not a painter, I don't pretend to be a painter. So I'm just going to tell you what I've done, because it's my bike, I'll have it the way I want it, I'll be happy with the finish, it ain't going to win any shows, I don't care, it'll look tidy, that's all I care about. So the front mudguard you saw in an earlier video, it's new, it has luckily no defects, which is quite unusual for new pressed panels. There's some slight rippling on the sides where it's been pressed, which I will look at again more closely when it's primed. I'll show you that when it's done. And the mudguard mounts at the side have got some pretty ugly spot welds, which are not very well finished. So I've filled them. And again, I'll show you that when it's all primed. But the back mudguard was a bit of a disaster zone. Now, the green bits are where I etched the entire thing, dents and all, so it wouldn't rust in storage and I could handle it, etc, etc. The grey bits are aerosol etch, which has been applied after I filled various parts. So as you can probably see, there's an awful lot of aerosol etch because there were dents galore all over it. I don't know if you recall, but the seat mount was just a rusty, ragged hole, so I welded a washer on that. The front end of the mudguard was split right across there, which I have welded up, ground out. I could probably fill there, you can just see it there, which I could fill, but I'm not going to bother because that is completely out of sight, jammed up against the oil tank. So I mean that's a perfectly acceptable finish for that position for me. As you can see, more on this side, and then at the back, the whole of this was split, dented, pushed in and rusty. So I had to weld it up, straighten it up as best I could, which is reasonably good at the minute. I'll check again in prime, it's reasonably good. There's some very minor work needed in here, I think, to try and get that curve slightly better. But it's pretty good. And at the end of the day, I may still fit a fender tip, which is what those holes are for. And then where it folds on the side, that was all caved in. I mean, properly crushed. So it didn't line up with the rest of the mudguard. So that's, again, that's pretty straight now. It fits cleanly to there. Can you see that? I'm not sure you can. Let me try that a little bit again. So sorry about that. So that was all caved in here. The captive nut's been ripped out, but I'm not bothered about that. I can just use a nut and bolt, which is what was in there. And I've got this straight enough again that it fits into the recess of the folding mudguard. Now I can't show you any of the actual paint process as it goes on because the garage is too small. It fills up with overspray reasonably quickly, even using a small gun, which is what I use. And also the overspraying things I don't want it getting on the camera because I can't afford to buy another one, quite frankly. Not at the minute anyway. So I will now prime these. I'll show them both again when they're primed, see how they've come out, and then we'll move on to the paint. Now the paint I have chosen is, I won't show the colour yet, I'll save that, there's a bit of excitement. The paint I've chosen is an approximation, shall we say, of a 1973 colour. It's going in candy, which is a 3-part process. It'll be a very high glitter silver base coat, then the candy colour on top, and then lacquer on top of that. How will it turn out? Who knows? As I say, I'm not a painter, we shall see. But it'll probably look better than matte black. So onward and upward.